So, how much are we going to see your character pretty much raising Bruce Wayne?
So we're shooting. Thank the Lord, we're shooting chronologically, which has never really been seen before. So we're watching the sort of development of the man or the boy becoming the man, the early stages of their relationship. So you'll follow. As I said, we're shooting chronologically. So we are naturally, David and I are naturally discovering our voice, our heartbeat, our language, and if things have changed. I have a son myself called Alfred, who's 12. So it's a very interesting process to be growing with this boy that is extremely damaged. So we're finding our way as we go, and like with any young person, especially if it's not related specifically, like Alfred is to the young Master Bruce, is that you try and find a hook, you try and find a way in to their soul, into their psyche, to develop your relationship with them. And we do. We've just shot it, and it's he won't be noted for his parenting skills, but it's his way of communicating with the boy. And then you see the birth. He becomes very much the enabler. I think this is something that's been overlooked in every other version. Is that Alfred, if you think about it, before he goes off to Tibet or wherever he goes, he is interested by this. So he's been enabled by Alfred. He has this sense of value anyway, that has been nurtured and been moulded by Alfred, as has every cast member in our show. Our version of Gotham is the sitting moulding the person, as the character, into who they become. And because Bruno is such a superlative writer, psychology plays a huge part in his writing. So it's based on realism. So it's something that it is a joy to go to work. I know you've heard that a million times from everyone that you ever interview, but it really is. The only frustrating thing is actually not being there more often. And it's great for me because it explodes. Our character sort of explodes by episode 8.
So it's episode 8 that you...
Well, you start to see a side. You start to see our way of communicating.
Okay, that's good.
So what was it that attracted you to the role initially?
Excuse me, are you joking? Let me think. I mean, absolutely everything. I mean, we didn't know, as you probably heard before from some of the other guys, that was kept completely under tabs. I was given this great 2-page soliloquy to learn, but I knew it was written by someone who had an understanding of me coming from London, because I come from London.
Yeah.
I was here doing elementary, and I went along to this thing, and I didn't know what it was. It went really well. They picked me up, drove me to LA, and they still wouldn't tell me what it was. They alleviate you of your electronic devices, and then they put you in a room, and then I see what it is. It's Gotham, and I went, oh my God, now I really want it, and now I'm really terrified. And I said, Bruno, walking with Danny, and they went, all right. We went in and did a workshop, and I saw it was Alfred, and it's an honour. To begin with, it was an honour that I really don't take lightly. We have had some wonderful versions of him. He's a very loved character. He's very loved in my country as well, because he's all of these things, and I take great great sense of responsibility towards the character, and to give him a proper base, and to see his journey, where he comes from, because he has issues. He has rage issues. He has issues of guilt, all of which, he blames himself for the death of the Waynes, and he wasn't there. He then finds out that he never signed on any dotted line to be a father. So he finds himself in this extraordinary position of being made the legal guardian for a multi-billionaire. So what do you do? What do you do? He doesn't know. He's terrified. And you're beginning to see that by episode 3. He tries to play with him in sword fighting, but you start to see, hang on a minute, can Alfred's past? Because why is he like that then? So it's a real fascinating journey, and it gets, for us, we're shooting an episode at the moment, which I so want to tell you about.
Go ahead.
See you later.
So you said it was kind of under wraps when you went in. They took all your stuff. Yeah. And when you saw it was Gotham, did you already know what character they wanted you to play?
No.
Or did you have any hopes?
No, we didn't know it was even called Gotham until I got to LA. There was rumours that, because of course Bruno is someone that I've worked with Danny before. Bruno is someone that I'm desperate to work with. He did that fantastic role, which I just adore, my friend James Beaufort. And when I saw him, that he was acting, taking my bum. When I saw it was Bruno, it's a cut above, really. You know that it's not going to be naughty, it's going to be sort of serious and considered. So he was going back to your question, it's like an absolute no-brainer. It's something I was desperate to do.
When you found out it was Gotham, you didn't know who you were playing. Did you have any?
I didn't know when I read it. I thought, well, East End, London.
Were you hoping that there was any characters specifically you would get to play?
I was hoping.
Maybe Alfred worked out.
Yeah.
Did you go back and look at any of the other performances?
I'm a huge. Funny enough, I was watching this morning the '60s Batman Adam West. It's absolutely brilliant. It's brilliant, actually. It's hilarious. It's brilliant. And I remember people always say accuse it of just being camp. I watched that when I was a kid, and I absolutely loved it. To me, it was super cool. And I think the way that it's changed and moulded, and of course, the Michael Gotham is just extraordinary. He's all heart and love. And Michael takes that as well, but Michael has damaged past himself, which I found really interesting. I tried, to be honest, to stay away from as much as I could, although I'm fully aware of them, I possess them, or I own them all anyway. I love them. I love all of them, to be honest, to a certain degree. And there comes a point where you have to develop your own Bible in your own life. And then I wrote my own Bible, which I presented to Bruno on the first day when we were shooting at Long Island. And he liked it. And what I was very proud about is that they do our paths cross with the literary stuff that had been written since 1943. They were all elements that I ticked upon in my sort of approach to my Alfred. So I hope that the fans will see. We start to see detail of which is included in some of the early stories.
Can you tell us something key from what you put together in the Bible? Something that you especially
concealment is something that. Concealment. Some of the early episodes, some of the early comic books, he was an actor. Alfred was an actor, so he used to help. He taught Master Bruce how to ape language, so he could do a perfect impersonation of Bruce Wayne to pretend he was there before video screens and Skype. He's not answering the phone. But there's also things like the art of concealment, the art of sort of concealing yourself by being an actor. Also the militaristic background, the fact that I'm Marine, so the guys have given me my Marine knife. There's lots of little details that you start to see. I don't really want to give too much away because the great thing is shooting chronologically, you start to discover and it starts to unravel, as you do with Robin and Ben and everything like that.
All right, last question, guys.
So in what ways do you feel that Gotham, as the show, will stand apart in the Batman universe?
But where it will stand apart is the city that moulded these people. It's the city that enabled. I'm an enabler in many respects for Bruce to become the man he becomes. The city's responsible for it. It starts with the Big Bang explosion of the Worths, when the Waynes died and killed, and it's the fallout from there. It's the way the city creates these people, what drives them to put on or become the people that they become. It's like that's, and you just don't have to look back into the history of the stories. This is wealth. We've got 75 years to draw from.
All right, thank you guys so much.